Hi guys, welcome back to Begin to Code with Mark. We're going to look today at part 2 of our Tic Tac Toe app, which we're going to look at how the computer program that we're writing can put the other turn in the box and sort of play against us. To start with, it's going to be a little bit random. I just want it to populate the O because we're going to be player X, so I just want it to put an O in a box. We still need to check if either player is winning, and we still have the win check function that we built, and we're also going to need to check at the end of the game if it's tied. But that's going to be the scope of this video, and then subsequent videos we're going to actually try and get the program to intelligently pick where it should be putting its O. But for now, let's begin to code. Please have a go with me. If you're a developer, please follow along and send suggestions for ways I should be doing it better, because I'm beginning to code, same as most people I think who are watching the channel. So let's begin. Thank you. Okay everyone, so here we are in our application. If we just run it, we'll see where we left off in the last video. So it's an X and O, X and O. It's switching between the two, but we're playing both positions, and if we win, or if a player wins, it will say who has won, and we've got the reset button at the bottom if we get to a tie. So we have our check win function, and in button game, this is where every time we click the button, we're switching between the users, disabling the button, and then checking who has won. So we're going to change quite a bit of this now and create a new function, which is computer turn, and from that one we will start to generate this section, which is the O section, right? So we're still going to be player X, and we're going to generate player O. Okay, so I'm going to start with a little bit of commenting. I don't really need the if statement anymore, I don't believe. I'm not going to completely destroy it for now, but we'll just comment out some of the sections of the if statement. So we definitely want our turn to take place. This section, yeah, we can comment all of this out. I think I can comment it out up here, right? Yeah. So right now, if we're clicking, we're just going to go through the X's, and it will just continue to keep putting an X in. So if we think about the game, every time we click and put something in, the first thing we want the program to do is check if someone has won. So we still need to do check win every time we've clicked. If check win comes back and doesn't work, then we want it to run, let's say it's called computer turn, or program turn. So this is where we'll just make that one smaller. So this is where the computer code is now, if check win doesn't return anything, this one should run, and we will call that private void computer turn. And so we will have our function there for computer turn. So we can just put a quick message box in here just to make sure that definitely does find this piece of code. So we'll just put an OK in there. I just want to double check that check win doesn't sort of stop anything. No, so we've got the OK, so we know we're getting to this function if check win is not true. So in this function, what we need to do is just randomly right now pick a number for the computer to play, which isn't equal to something which has already been played. We'll know if something's already been played because the tag will be either a 1 if we've put already our X in there, or an O if the computer's already picked its box. So we need it to pick anything where the tag is still equal to 0. We can start by calling or creating a random number generator, which is very similar to the very similar to the random generator that we had in the lottery app, in the last lottery app. Let's get our code correct here and try new random. And from here we will create an integer called tickbox, and in there we will put our random dot next, and that needs to be between 0 and 9. So we our button text goes into our X and our tag. We're going to look at play boxes, which is our buttons, because the computer is not going to have a button to click. It's going to have to look at what buttons have been clicked. So play boxes is the array which stores the buttons in, so it needs to scroll through play boxes, of which there's 9 play boxes. It starts at 0 to 8, and I think random numbers, the top number is a number it won't hit, so this is between 0 and 8. It's going to generate a random number, and from there we need to actually before there we're going to put that in a loop. The reason why we're going to put this in a loop is if our random number has already been used, we need it to pick another one, so we can use a loop to do that. So we'll create an int I equals 0, and then as long as I is less than 1, then I plus plus, and we can put our first creation of tick box in the loop. So the loop is going to run the first go, and it's going to create tick box. Then we want to say if our tick box tag or our play box's tick box tag is equal to 0 or not. So that's quite a bit of code, or quite a statement, because we need to convert it to the integer to compare. So we convert to int32, and then we're looking at play boxes, and we're looking at the array, and we're looking at the tick box. So we've generated our number. We're going to pull back that point of the array. We're going to look at the tick box dot tag, and we're going to say, is this equal to 0? If that is, we're going to play that box, else I minus minus, and that will effectively go back into the loop, generate a new tick box number, and compare it again. So it's going to keep going until it finds an empty box, and then basically it's going to put an O in that box. So now we want to think about what we want the computer to do, and it's exactly the same as what it was doing up here actually. So we want it to update the text to O. It's not going to be the button text though, it's going to be this playbox's tick box text. So the playboxes is the button array, so this is going to playbox's tick box finds the button that we want, and then we want to go to the text property and we want to update that to O, so that's going to put the O in the box. Then we want playbox's tick box dot tag to equal 10, so that's going to update our tag. We can reset our player to equal true. I'm not sure if we're not using this if statement anymore, so every time we click the button it will go X and O, but I don't mind leaving that in for now because I think we might use that later. Then if it puts an O in, it puts a 10 in, it marks it as true. I think what we want to do, we're going to disable the button, so playbox's tick box what is it, dot enabled is going to equal false. We need to put that there because above in the code we're effectively putting button enabled here, right, before check win, before computer turn. Now we're down in computer turn, so it's not going to come back and do this button enabled piece. So we're going to put button enabled there. We're also at this stage gonna, well, we could call it here or here, but I think we're going to check win. We'll check win here because the computer or the program could also win. So we'll call check win from here. Now what it should do, if we've done this correctly, is start to play a game. So we'll put an X in and it's immediately put an O in the one next door. We'll put an X in and it's put an O in the one next door. Should we let it win or not? Well, it might not pick that, that's the thing. We'll put an X in, it did, and it won. So that has gone through, it's randomly picked 3 boxes, check win has been triggered, and we see that it's won. And then the check win, obviously when it wins we call button reset, I think it is. So X and O, X and O, X and O, X, and player X wins. So we are playing against the program. It's already started and put an O in there. X and O, X and O, X and O, X and O. So we don't know if our game is tied. We're manually going all the way down and then resetting. And also on that particular play, you may have noticed that we had 2 O's in a row, and I didn't click it, so it could have won, but it didn't take it because it's only picking random numbers at the moment in this program, right, in this generator. But it's good for now that we have it at least playing against us. I think what we need to do is also, after check win, we need to start to see if the game is tied. And the way I'm going to do that is by another array, another integer. So we're going to call this int count, and that's going to equal 9 because there's 9 buttons on our grid to go through. So if we've gone 9 turns and no one's won, then the game is tied. So every time we click a button, we want we want count minus minus. That will take 1 off of count, and we want the computer turn also. Here it can take count minus minus. So count should start going down now as we play the game. If check win never comes, after computer turn, after check win, it's going to come back to here. Then we can check if count equals 0. So if count equals 0, we could, let's put a message box. Message box sort of show. Trying to go too fast. The game is tied. And then we will call our reset, which is called reset game. So reset game won't be automatic, right, because you have to click yes on the message box, then reset game will run, and we want to reset our count back to 9. So when we click reset game, we will say that count equals 9. So let's test if we have a game tied hard stop on our game now. We're just adding small pieces of logic all the time. So what I don't want to do is win, and I don't want him to win, so we'll put an X there. Oh, I have one. That's a shame. Let's try not to win. And this might be a bit trickier than I thought. I can't not win. XO, so that he doesn't want to go there. So now I think no one's won. The game is tied. Well, we got there in the end. The game is tied. Okay, and we're back to square one. We're back to playing our game. So yeah, quite pleased with how that has progressed. We now have the program at least playing against us, right? It's not as good as video 1 where I show the website which had it defending its position and trying to win, but we'll come to that in part 3. But right now for part 2 we have the computer turn running. It tries to check if it's 1 at least. We're not picking repeated digits, so it goes through, it finds an empty box, it marks it with an O, and if we get all the way to the bottom and nothing's done, or no one's won, then the game is tied runs and reset game runs. So quite happy with the progress of Tic Tac Toe in video 2 of Tic Tac Toe. So tomorrow we will really have a look at how we can have the program now trying to win or trying to defend. When you think about Tic Tac Toe, let's just think a bit about what we're going to be doing in part 3. When you play this game, if you think about it logically, what you're trying to do, first you're trying to win, right? So you're looking at the board and you're saying, well, can I win? The answer on this board at the moment is no, because it's empty. Do I need to defend? Can my opponent win? Again, the board is empty, so no. So I'm just going to put it anywhere. Now I'm going to look, can I win? No. Do I need to defend? No. So I'm going to put it there. Now I'm going to try and think, can I win? Yes. That's the one I'm going to go to. Do I need to defend? If we didn't have this and there was 2 O's, do I need to defend? Yes, I need to defend. So we need to think logically how we play the game and then break it down into a number of functions. So when computer turn has its turn, it's going to run a can win function, and it's going to look to see if it has 2 O's in a row, then which is the empty one, and populate it. If it hasn't got that option, then it's going to say, well, does it need to defend? So it will run can defend, and if there's 2 X's in a row, then it will go against that. And then if there's none of that criteria matched, then it's going to go in an empty square. So that's what we're going to be doing in the next video. For this video, we're done. So trying to just make shorter, quicker videos of smaller pieces of logic. So hope that that's easy for everyone to follow. I'm still very aware we need to go through and tidy and comment the code, but I'm a guy, I like to build it, I like to see it working, and then I'll come back and sort of tidy it. And because we're doing this all in sort of one go, it's not like we're taking a big break and coming back. If we were taking a big break, we really would want to comment and keep it tidy as we go. But like I say, I like to see it working, I like to see the final solution, and then we can just come back and think, well, how do we tweak that and make it more efficient? And we've always got something working to compare it to make sure we don't get too far away from where we should be. But that's where we are today. So thanks everyone for watching Tic Tac Toe Part 2. Like, comment and subscribe. Thanks everyone, and see you in Part 3 very soon. Bye for now.